Hello, Dr. Wells, and this is my video on teacher disposition. The first prompt is, what is a teacher's role in supporting learning, improving planning and practice, upholding professional expectations, and collaboratively advancing the profession? This is best found in the Interstate Teacher Assessment and Support Consortium, also known as INTASC. They set the standard. Going through all of the 10 standards for that was a good idea of, hey, how is it our role as teachers to advance the profession? That can be done in a variety of ways, with collaborative learning, with students, with other teachers, with community, with professionals in the field. We can advance it. We can, keep students safe. I think that's a big hot topic right now, is keeping students safe in the classroom, whether that be either physically or sexually or mentally. Everything under that umbrella, I think, is kind of our duty and our job, as well as, recognizing where students come from. I think that's a big part of it, where they're from in their culture, in their community, and just their background. Next prompt is, what professional dispositions of learners do you currently possess that will make you a good teacher? And then what are the ones I need to work on? Being a personal trainer, I think this sets me up well for, moving into a teaching role. It's teaching, but kind of in a different way. I think one of the biggest ones that I learned was respect for the diversity of others. Being a trainer, there's people that have gone through all walks of life by the time they get to me. So, you really have to take a step back. You have to enter into their shoes. I think that's a big part of it, is recognizing not only diversity, but then trying to understand it a little bit more. Curiosity, I've always been a learner. I've always been curious. I always want to know more. I've always wanted to do more research, especially in my undergrad. It was the more research, the better. Compassion, I've always been more soft-hearted. I definitely care about those around me. And going back to training, again, you can't be a very good trainer without being compassionate. It's hard to do that. So I love people, and I love helping people. Fairness, honesty, I pride myself in being honest at all times. Telling lies hardly ever works out anyway. You always get caught, so might as well be honest. And then things I need to work on. Fairness, it's easy for me to pick favorites. We have to let all students have the chance to succeed. And I think if you pick favorites, then that sets other students up better than others. And then professional conduct is one I need to work on. Sometimes I have a hard time with more rigid rules. I know why they're in place, but a lot of times it's hard for me to stick to them, especially when I think I know better, which is a problem. And then I've been known to be late. That's another thing I definitely have to work on. And then what personal biases have an effect on teaching and learning? I think personal bias has a huge effect on it. Going back to meeting the student where they're at. I have circumstances that have led me up to this point too, so I have to recognize those biases, as well as, with those biases, again, not picking favorite students. It's not fair to the other students. It's not fair to the class. So it's a good idea to take a step back and kind of recognize my biases, especially, in a multicultural setting. That is something, being a white male, that is something I have to work on. And then reflecting on your own professional dispositions of learners related to education. Explain how you would uphold and adhere to the academic and professional integrity as a current teacher candidate or future teacher. The best way to, I think, uphold and adhere to those, standards and those dispositions is to always have reminders. This can be done with, students, asking them. You can have a teacher shadow your class. You can come back to these dispositions and kind of reflect on, hey, how have I done? I think reflection is huge. I think you can't learn unless you look at where you've come from and what you've done in the past. And if you're not trying to right those things that you've done, maybe not wrong, but just weren't quite as good in the past, education is always evolving. So if you're not evolving with it, I think that makes things really tough. You can do this daily, you can do it weekly, monthly, but I think if you're not reflecting, you're not learning and you aren't growing. Thank you.